Today we will discuss about the spill of BP in the Gulf of Mexico. We will analyze the ethical dilemma faced by the company based on those seven parts. First of all, I will introduce the company. The predecessor of the BP is Anglo Persian. It was founded by William William Stark in 1909 and later remained the Anglo Ryan oil company in 1935. Now BP ranked the fourth largest company in the world and the third largest energy company. Next, I will talk about the background of the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, which happened on spring 2010. This accident caused the death of 11 workers and the injury of 70 workers, and caused serious environment pollution. This arguably the largest marine oil spill in the world to date. Then I will talk about the ethical dilemma that benefits the BP company faced when the company practice ethic. It will have a better image and reputation. Then it bring long-term benefits. Ethic practice help business more effectively meet stakeholder expectations, which are more complex and hard to achieve. Next, will come the other number Mishal Shakeel to introduce the companies.
Hello, my name is Mishal Shakeel and I will be talking about leadership styles adopted by British Petroleum's leadership. Leadership is the ability of guiding people and pursuing them to accomplish the personal and organizational needs, while the act of planning, controlling, and leading a group of people within the organization to achieve their aims. The key approach used in the company is laissez-faire leadership style that allows the employees and the team to collaborate in order to accomplish goals. This local management approach allows the team to perform as per laws. The training and feedback sessions are on time. However, transformational leadership will help broadening the perspective of team players. They will commit to active listening and accept the responsibility assigned to them, and that can help their in overall improvement of business operations. In this slide, I will be talking about theoretical underpin 5 leadership lessons from the British Petroleum's oil spill. This slide effectively outlines the key leadership lessons learned from the oil spill case. First, its army of media advisors and PR professionals. BP made the mistake of trying to spin its way out of the crisis rather than tracking it head on. Number 2. As for the other key players, no one have heard little from the leaders of Transocean, a company that was clearly no minor player in the disaster, since it leased the rig to British Petroleum and was responsible for safety. Number 3. In some ways, a clearer comparison can be drawn between the Gulf of Mexico oil spillage and the banking crisis then with 9/11. In both the oil and banking industries, risk management came a poor second to innovation, profitability, and market demand. Number 4. Leadership has been visibly lacking to British Petroleum and among political leaders during this crisis, there has been a shortage of leadership among community members and volunteers in the region who have mobilized themselves uh, in the effort to mitigate the effects of oil spill. Number 5. The leadership exists beyond title and office, and elected leaders should remember this. Thank you. Now I'd like my colleague to continue with the presentation.
Hi, my name is Hafsa Bashir and I will be discussing regarding the rational approach for British petroleum. So over the last 2 decades, there have been a slew of catastrophic incidents involving oil and gas sector. The Petrobras rig in Campos Basin of Brazil exploded and caught fire, and Alexander Keeland oil also collapsed. The chosen approach was selected because of its viability and feasibility in terms of context. The investigation of the incident showed that there were a number of critical signs and were ignored by the management in the events leading up to the disaster. There were negligence in form of ignoring safety checks as well. The scheduled maintenance did not take place as well. For example, the US Coast Guard issues 18 pollution citations for Deepwater Horizon. The main aim of the approach is to make sure that such events do not repeat, and such as in British Petroleum case, the base 18,000 18,000 feet deep well wasn't cemented properly. This further led to mechanical errors and human errors that caused the explosion. The newer approach should require BP and contractor to operate in safe manners and to make sure that this event should not be repeated. To take measures to certain oil and gas for protection of health and environment, to conduct reliable tests of well pressures, and notify federal regulators and contractors that the changes in drilling plan. To ensure this, a number of checks and measures will be put into place with the adequate mechanism of enforcement. Now, thank you, and my fellow team member will continue with his presentation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mohammed Ali. So I'm here to discuss regarding the options in the given scenario. Whilst there are a number of options available, it is essential to make sure that the most relevant ones are used. On the continental shelf in Mississippi, Canaan, the Deepwater Horizon rig was managed by Transocean and it was leased to British Petroleum. It is an offshore oil drilling corporation and underwater 4,900 feet underneath the sea surface, a deep oil well reached out 18,000 well into the rock. The implications for the project are huge in terms of the amount of the finances as well as the potential danger to the human life involved. So one of the most important factors that must be considered in this case is the nature of hazards at the place. Keeping this aspect in mind, one of the most prudent options here is in this case is to put into place a code of conduct for companies that ensure a tighter check on areas such as quality assurance and safety maintenance. Apart from this, the management can also invest in areas like human resource development, and by investing in these areas, the companies can then proceed to make the operating environment safer from risk of future accidents. I'll now request my fellow presenter to continue from here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Guanying Huang. I'm going to talk about the decision and the consequence of BP facing exit dilemmas. The various cleanup efforts were coordinated by national response teams, a group of government agencies headed by the U.S. Coastal Guard and the Environmental Protection Agencies. As oil began pollution Louisiana beaches in May, it was removed by hand, as estimated 1,100 miles of coastline were contaminated. The cleanup required billions of dollars, so the consequence is the financial difficulty billions of dollars in coastal loss. But the environment is getting better and the marine life is being saved in time. Casualties and the families has also been compensated. Option one is better suited to TL leadership models. They are more concerned with emotion, values, and access, and more visionary. The oil spring has had a huge environmental impact facing the entire group of Mexico region. Option two is invasion of responsibility. The consequence is the environmental pollution faced by BP is mainly oil spill pollution. Pollution has caused damage to wildlife and the ecosystem in the affected area. Wild animals such as bird, turtle, dolphin, and whale are seriously affected by oil spills. In addition, fishers are directly affected by pollution, resulting in an increase in unemployment. The lives of people in the affected by are treated because they are unable to collect fish, but the funding is conditional stable. There is no liability others. Option two is schedule transformational leadership. They are focused on interest rather than the interest of his or her followers and self-consumption. The BP there chose the option one. First one, first at all, BP has responded to different dilemmas caused by the accident. It includes helping to monitor the health and the safety of their involved in oil cleaners, working to clean up the sea and the shore, saving and restoring wildlife, culturally spread and conservating affect people and the community due to the impact of the accident on the tourism industry. Tourism activity has been launched to attract people to the Gulf Coast. Tony, who was CEO of BP, he was fired from the company after taking his responsibilities and accepted the fund. That's all.
My name is Sakib Ahmed. I will discuss about suggestions. Standards of leadership. Standards of leadership that should be adopted by BP future during a crisis in the future should be. This is because, according to Arapam, this involves consulting the organization because making important decisions. The advantage of this, according to MSG 2000, not only does it improve quality of service, but it reduces. This is relevant to the BP oil spill as according to the LA Times, BP was warned before about the oil spill. However, it was operating an autocratic leadership style where workers warning about increasing oil production and the health and safety risks that it poses to workers were dismissed without a care in the world according to Crocodile 2010. This standard of poor leadership that existing within BP at the time of the oil spill is what caused it according to Chandler 2011. In order to manage a similar event, occurring in the future more professionally and to a higher standard which the public and regulatory bodies expect. A participative leadership standard is the one that should be adopted. This is because this leadership style makes the employees feel as if they are valued and their concerns are taken seriously, according to WGU 2021. The result of this standard of leadership is that it will result in the employees all being motivated and will not only improve media relations with no employees selling them information, it will help the containment and cleanup effort much more efficient. And no employees will go to the media saying that employee concern about health and safety were ignored because a participative leadership style involves them in the decision making. In the future, a similar dilemma such as this occurring can be overcome with management changing their style of management. This is because, according to Goldberg 2010, the poor management was one of the leading causes of the accident. And the BBC 2011 stating that bad management not only caused it but the cleanup effort also. In the future, in order to make sure that such as a dilemma is solved much more smoothly in the future, a democratic management style where all of the workers are consulted on the discussions that are made and all concerns that they may have about a crisis such as these are addressed. The result of this will be that a crisis, if it were happen to again in the future, will result in the dilemma being solved much more smoothly and will result in less negative media coverage, according to Giles 2018. And here are the references we use for this presentation. That's it. Thank you.